Victoria. Thank you. It's been a delight to have you with us, and always a delight to have your company here on The Chase Australia. See you next time.
Bombshell evidence as the inquiry into the deadly failures surrounding the Ruby Princess gets underway. Tonight, the ship's doctor admits passengers were showing symptoms. Her surprise, they were allowed to get off in Sydney. An emergency medical team sent in to save lives at the Penrith nursing home where residents are dying from coronavirus. The road to recovery, beaches to reopen, cafes and restaurants possibly next. COVID cases across the state drop dramatically. Coles and Woolworths restart home delivery, some restrictions lifted, how and what you can buy. A very different Anzac Day this year, no dawn service, no marches. What's in place this weekend? Discounts and cashbacks, immediate help to stretch household budgets further. And his side of the story, outgoing NRL chief Todd Greenberg, what happened as the season gets the official green light.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. The cruise ship doctor at the centre of the Ruby Princess disaster has given bombshell evidence at a special inquiry into the deadly coronavirus outbreak. She said she knew there were COVID-19 type symptoms on board, but did not point them out to authorities because she was not asked, and later forgot to send an updated health log ashore.
It's a question being asked around Australia.
Whether you thought it was appropriate for all of the passengers in the circumstances we've just discussed to disembark on that.
The answer from Ruby Princess head doctor Ilse van Voortstorff will be heard around the world.
I was surprised that we were allowed to do that without waiting for the results to come through.
One of a series of stunning revelations today.
We have 2 patients that need to be medically disembarked. I think the words they used were, we were worried that this is a bogus call.
Does the Commissioner take it from that you'd forgotten to send the final updated log?
I have the final updated log in a draft box, and it just, the day just became, did not have enough hours.
As the New South Wales Government's Special Commission of Inquiry into the disaster kicked off.
You were not asked any questions about COVID-19 in the form. That is signs on board.
Let me put it this way. If somebody asked me, could this be consistent with COVID-19, I would have said yes.
Thank you.
The inquiry heard there were COVID-19 concerns surrounding early morning ambulance calls.
It was important for me to let them know that it cannot be excluded.
As the commission, helmed by veteran Silk Brett Walker, turned fiery at times.
Please just answer my question, Doctor. There were no passengers showing COVID-19 symptoms. Would that have been correct or not? If you can, just give me a one-word answer.
No. I do recall more people getting ill later in the cruise, definitely.
The doctor was also asked if Princess bosses had warned her about the unfolding Corona cruise disaster in Japan while the Ruby was at sea.
Had the company given you information concerning what had taken place on the Diamond Princess in Yokohama through early February and February 2020?
I hadn't received any communication regarding that, no.
Today, some fellow crew members finally boarded flights home to the US.
We're grateful that we're alive, we're healthy, we're well, and we're going to be all right.
Despite there still being an open investigation and the Special Commission of Inquiry, New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fuller has confirmed that the captain will sail the ship out of Port Kembla tomorrow, leaving behind an ocean of questions.
Did anyone from New South Wales Health contact you and say, have we got our figures correct? Is it correct that 104 passengers and crew presented to the clinic with acute respiratory illness? Did you have any conversation along those lines?
Not that I can recall.
The inquiry resumes tomorrow. It hasn't revealed whether the captain will be called up before he sets off. Peter Fegan, 7 News.
The federal government is rushing in extra staff to the virus-plagued nursing home near Penrith after 7 News exposed worrying examples of neglect. The boss of the home, where 3 residents have died, says he's deeply sorry for the lack of care, with more than half his workforce now quarantined.
They are all in this together, families of what's become their Newmarch house of horrors.
The stories just get worse and worse. Everyone's got their own horror story.
But after Anthony Bowe revealed his mother, Pat Shay's shocking story of neglect on 7 News last night, first an apology from Anglicare.
That should never happen, never.
Then a promise from the federal government.
We are stepping in to make sure that everything that needs to be done is done, no questions, no doubts.
Extra staff being brought in to address a chronic shortage that's forced residents, including Louise Payne's coronavirus-infected mum, Yvonne, to endure more pain.
We can't get in there. We come and we look through the fence and try and get a glimpse and a wave.
Among the shocking claims to emerge, wounds being left untreated, blood-stained sheets unwashed, medication and food delivery delayed.
I've got a mother in an aged care facility and I would be dismayed if there was not that support.
Anglicare blaming fear. 14 staff members have been infected, 55 others in self-isolation as a result.
We've struggled to get staff to sort of come into this zone, and they turn up and they get scared and they go away.
The same private company which boarded the Ruby Princess, Aspen Medical, will send in an emergency response team.
From the Commonwealth's point of view, we have offered unlimited workforce support. Unlimited workforce support.
The state government also under pressure to do more. 3 residents have now died from COVID-19. 28 remain infected.
What is happening in that facility is a responsibility of New South Wales Health.
Where responsibilities start and end are blurred in pandemics, normally it's the Commonwealth that takes responsibility.
Right now, these families aren't interested in blame. They just want to know their loved ones will be cared for and that residents of other aged care homes won't have to suffer in the same way. Mary Watson last saw her mum Alice through a window 2 weeks ago on her 93rd birthday.
She's not going to die from the virus.
Is it the standard of care?
It's the standard of care.
Let's go to Alex Hart now outside Newmarch House. Alex, when will that help arrive?
Mark, I'm told a nursing supervisor from Aspen Medical has already been on the ground here to begin the assessment of staffing needs inside. The federal government will also provide access to more GPs through the private healthcare network. Anglicare is resisting any suggestion this is a federal takeover, saying it is still best placed to continue managing this facility, and will call a meeting with the residents and their families tomorrow to address their concerns. Regardless of the outcome of that meeting, many of the families say they will continue to meet here outside every day at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to keep the pressure on. Mark.
OK, Alex, thank you. Starved of customers, the restaurant and catering industry has put together a proposal to get people back inside venues. Strict measures would be enforced to keep people apart. It comes as Waverley Council approve letting swimmers and surfers back in the water, but with a warning.
A spectacular sunrise over the beaches this morning with news more people will get to use them. The lockdown lifted a little.
Oh, that's awesome. I exercise every morning, so to be able to go for a swim in the morning is pretty awesome.
As 7 News broke exclusively on Monday, Bondi, Bronte and Tamarama are to be open to swimmers and surfers, but the sand remains closed.
No running, no walking, no gathering, no bringing your kids down to play in the sand and have a paddle in the water.
It starts next Tuesday, runs only Monday to Fridays.
We're really asking people to really work with the lifeguards and rangers on this.
With some saying it's not worth the risk.
Maybe the government should keep the restrictions going on a little bit longer.
Concerns too about plans to gradually reopen schools, but the Premier says they could be back to classes full time even before term 3.
It could be brought forward even earlier to get them back to school
depending on how we
full-time.
go, exactly. If we go well and if we find it working.
And with the opening of schools and beaches, now the push to get restaurants and cafes going again.
It's a big hit when you sort of say, how many times I can start again?
Bankstown restaurant owner Sal Gasparo says the crisis has been crippling, keeping his head above water thanks to government grants.
$10,000 grants, it's quick, rapid relief to help businesses get through this time.
Restaurant Association data claims 30% of venues have been forced to close.
And we expect that about 25% or 12,000 businesses will likely not reopen after the COVID-19 recovery.
This week, they're submitting a proposal to government to allow restaurants to reopen under strict conditions.
Among the recommendations they're making are that all the crockery and cutlery be disposable, the wait staff wear gloves and that every table have hand sanitisers, and then social distancing. Families would be allowed, but everybody else would be in pairs, just like the exercise rules.
Peter Zanos' Greek restaurant, an institution for 51 years. He says he'd do anything to welcome customers again.
We can adopt any conditions they're throwing at us. We can try it and we can implement it.
From the Treasurer,
I think it'll be months, but we'll get there.
Praying for clear horizons and a chance to trade again. Chris Reason, 7 News.
As Virgin Australia's administrators seek new funding for the beleaguered airline, airport support services are also in trouble. Virgin has some 10,000 staff, but many thousands more depend on it and other airlines for their survival too.
Calling all buyers. Virgin Australia is on the market, but that hasn't stopped appeals to its existing billionaire owners.
Stand up, step in for Virgin and help support it.
With no sign of that, the airline's administrators have issued a sales pitch stressing Australia's two-player market, strong domestic travel demand, 10 million Virgin Velocity members, key assets like its 130 aircraft and, ironically, strong government support.
It's very clear that the government wants an Australian solution to this.
Transport heavyweight Lindsay Fox has reportedly shown interest in investing. Super funds might too, if it suits members.
And needing to deliver the right return, and that can be a tricky thing in the aviation sector.
Virgin's loyalty arm, Velocity, is separate and not in administration, seen as a deal sweetener.
Between July and December last year, Virgin earned more money from Velocity than it did from flying. That's staggering.
After Virgin's collapse, now airport ground services operator Swissport is seeking taxpayer aid, warning 80% of its staff are at risk. Normally busy, bustling airports left strangely deserted. No people, no vehicles, and of course, no spending. And that's left their value now being questioned. Sydney Airport has already seen 40% shaved off its share price.
Airports are in a very difficult situation. I don't believe they would go to the wall, but they're in a very, very tough situation.
Usually safe bets for investors.
That's been called into question with COVID at the moment, whereby there has been pretty much a drop-off completely in traffic at airports.
Chris Marr, 7 News.
The extraordinary impact of panic buying has been revealed, with the latest retail figures showing a record surge last month. Network Finance Editor Gemma Acton joins me now. Hi there, Gemma. We all knew hoarders were stocking up, but now we know how much they spent.
Mark, we do. Retail sales in March leapt by 8.2% thanks to people with overflowing trolleys filling their cupboards in the lead up to lockdown. Supermarket sales jumped 22%. Unsurprisingly, at the top of the list were toilet paper, tissues, flour, rice and pasta. Their sales all doubled. Demand for canned food, medicine and cleaning products also soared. But we are being warned it will be a rough ride ahead.
Certainly double-digit declines or more than that, that's entirely possible because you add up cafes, clothes shopping and other parts of retail together.
Myer has announced its department stores will remain closed at least until Monday, May 11th. In the meantime, 26 stores are being used to fill online orders, which means work for around 20% of Myer staff who have been stood down. Mark.
OK, Gemma, thank you. Our supermarkets are ramping up efforts to allow customers in lockdown to do their shopping online. Coles and Woolworths have reopened their home delivery services, with thousands more staff recruited to help meet demand.
In our changing world, Woolies knows customers would prefer to avoid the aisles altogether. So it's hired a dedicated team to do the shopping for you.
We've added thousands of new personal shoppers who personally pick a customer's order.
At the height of the pandemic, home delivery was reserved for the vulnerable. But now Woolworths has reinstated online orders for everyone. And it is expecting unprecedented demand, hiring 5,000 staff to pack orders from within existing stores. And at this new pop-up warehouse in Melbourne's southeast. The supermarket giant's also taken on thousands of drivers from Sherpa and Drive Yellow.
So we've got tens of thousands of new windows available, so we can serve everyone with home delivery now.
As panic buying eases, Aldi has lifted purchase limits on long-life milk, microwave rice, canned foods and sugar. But toilet paper and paper towel are still being rationed. Coles has also relaxed its COVID-19 restrictions. Its click and collect and home delivery service are now available to everyone, but items will only be dropped at your front door, not at the kitchen table.
We're expecting a very large uptake. It's probably the second most asked question after when will toilet paper come back.
Jodie Lee, 7 News.
Our veterans are confident the Anzac spirit will continue to burn as bright as ever this year, despite the chaos caused by COVID-19. Now, more than ever, it's up to us to make sure our diggers' sacrifice is not forgotten by honouring our servicemen and women in our own way.
For more than a century, we've come together to commemorate Anzac Day. Now we're being asked to do it apart.
We can't turn up to the dawn service, we can't turn up to marches.
Streets normally filled with faces will be empty, memorials silent. The job of remembering this year falls to all of us. Hayden Lewis is one of the many young people answering the call to mark the spirit of Anzac safely.
Just playing the last post in our driveways just brings us all together, and we can all be a part of Anzac Day.
We have put together other ways to be able to remember our men and women who served and those who never came home.
At Ingleburn, Hazel Place is holding its own dawn service.
Can't remember when I missed an Anzac Day, so I thought I have to do something.
Poppies, rosemary and Anzac biscuits, all handmade.
That's easy. I like baking.
It's just in recognition of what the diggers did for us.
It's not just about honouring those we've lost, but those still serving.
Just want to give a shout out to my family and friends back home. I love and miss you very much.
With coronavirus having a devastating impact on our elderly, it is those people that these restrictions are trying to protect. Many of them are veterans themselves.
Those values that were forged at Gallipoli are really being demonstrated now by Australians in the way that they're really trying to commemorate their service in any way they can.
Because in the end, remembering is what it's all about. Andrew Denny, 7 News.
And 7's coverage of Anzac Day will begin at 4:30am on Saturday, bringing you services from around the country with a special edition of Weekend Sunrise from 7am, followed by Sydney's Hyde Park service live at 10am. China is resisting mounting global pressure for an independent investigation into its handling of the outbreak. Our Prime Minister has rallied Donald Trump and other world leaders to push for an international probe to prevent another pandemic.
Chinese President Xi Jinping visiting a primary school and a tea plantation, but won't concede his country misled the world over the coronavirus, not for all the tea in China. Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton has called on China to show greater transparency, the Chinese embassy firing back, accusing him of staging political attacks on China and being keen to parrot what those Americans have asserted.
I think they were unwanted and unjustified comments.
The industry minister repeating Mr Dutton's plea.
I would call on all nations to be very transparent and very open.
How to ensure China does that is something Scott Morrison discussed in a series of phone conversations with world leaders overnight. One suggestion, an inquiry to go into China with the powers of a weapons inspector. With US President Donald Trump discussing the need to design a better global response to future pandemics, in another call, France's Emmanuel Macron revealing he'll press for a full inquiry into the origins of the outbreak at next month's World Health Organization Assembly, but an inquiry independent of that body and the UN. German Chancellor Angela Merkel telling Mr Morrison she backed the French proposal, but the big unanswered question, what body should investigate? If not the WHO, then who? Mark Riley, 7 News.
Outgoing NRL Chief Executive Todd Greenberg has spoken for the first time since he was ousted and says he has no regrets about his 4 years at the top. Mr Greenberg will now take time out with his family and says the game is more brutal off the field than on it.
His departure from the NRL means more of this for now. Welcome time out after intense pressure for months. He spoke for the first time to 7 News.
You're a little bit upset about all the criticism?
No, I'm not at all.
It's been a great journey, as I've said. I've had a lovely time working in the NRL.
And you feel you can walk away from the game with your head high?
100% I can. I've done lots of great things over this period of time. It's a tough business.
Hours later, the former NRL CEO emerged with his family by his side, expressing his love for the game, but it had come at a cost.
Sport's a tough industry. Rugby league's no different. I've said it before. It's brutal on the field and more brutal off it. But that's okay. I've had a great ride.
But the drums have been beating over the financial mess at NRL headquarters, and most of the blame has been directed at Greenberg.
There was a lot of difficult moments through my tenure, a lot of hard decisions. That's not to say we got them all right, but we're always upfront about it.
ARL Commission Chairman Peter V'landys has told 7 News his sole focus now is making the NRL more cost effective.
This was going to happen at some stage. It was going to be a train crash. The clubs and the game itself was not viable.
It's expected Greenberg's replacement won't be announced for months, while the season has been officially given the green light on May 28, with clubs to resume training on May 4. Michelle Bishop, 7 News.
Time now for a check on our weather, Brownie. Yet another great day.
Oh, indeed, Fergo. Yes, the stable autumnal weather just keeps on keeping on. Both Penrith and the city, in fact, today clocked 26.5 degrees, about 1 hour apart this afternoon. But having said that, you'll notice it was a colder start inland. And of course, it's the same story as we look around the state. Parks dipped down to 6 degrees near sunrise. It was 5 degrees in Young during the wee hours of the morning. Now, a massive belt of high pressure is behind the run of stable weather we've been enjoying now for a number of days. However, a crack in this settled pattern is expected to unfold on Sunday as a trough eventually, there it comes, brings some light patchy rain to the state. Yep, not a lot, just a millimetre or two. Of course, I'll have the detailed forecast, top of the hour, Fergo.
OK, David, thank you. There are growing fears for an elderly couple who disappeared on a camping trip. Next, the shock new twist as the mystery deepens. Also, a garbage truck driver accused of killing a Northern Beaches grandmother faces court. Never before seen pictures of a young Princess Elizabeth on Her Majesty's 94th birthday. Later, your COVID guide to making ends meet, the cashbacks and savings you can access right now. And in sport, one-on-one with league boss Peter V'landys as the search begins for a new CEO.
No case has ever been like this.
Diane, it's time to talk.
Each family member, all prime suspects.
Kenny, did you murder your father?
Bang, bang, bang. You will witness every bizarre development. The 7 News investigation, Family of Suspects, Sunday on 7.
If you're in business in Australia, right now you're facing one of your toughest challenges. It's not business as usual, and it's hard to know where to turn. Business Australia can help you manage your responsibilities to your employees, look after their health and well-being, and assist with strategies to maintain and sustain your business. We've been helping Australian businesses through thick and thin for 194 years, and we're here for you now. For free advice and support, visit businessaustralia.com.
Telstra's smart modem is backed up by Australia's best 4G network. So if the NBN stops, your home Wi-Fi won't. Experience better Wi-Fi with Telstra.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
At Domino's, we pride ourselves on handcrafted pizzas, but after leaving our 265-degree ovens, the only hands that touch them are yours. Try any large pizza from just $15 delivered with zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Come on, everyone.
Donate some of your data to kids who need it most and power their potential.
Hi, Chris. As one of our Care Super members, let's go see your super at work. Hold on. I'll show you some of the opportunities and possibilities that are being explored for you. Your super should work as hard as you do, so we're making sure it does.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Welcome back. Police fear foul play following the disappearance of two campers in Victoria. Detectives don't believe the pair faked their own deaths.
The eloping theory, in my mind, is not credible. I wouldn't discount it, but I would be very surprised.
Russell Hill didn't tell his wife he was camping with longtime family friend Carol Clay. The trial has begun for a garbage truck driver accused of running over and killing Sydney grandmother Hannah Matheson in DY 2 years ago. Tera Moanatiki today maintained he's not guilty of dangerous driving. Tomorrow the court will visit the spot where it happened. Ms Matheson is credited with saving the life of her 18-month-old grandson, who she was pushing in a stroller. The British government is said to be divided over the right time to lift its lockdown, with increasing fears of a second wave of COVID-19. Human trials of a vaccine are about to begin, but for too many across the UK, it's already too late.
In Birmingham, Britain's latest coronavirus hotspot, some of the hundreds of victims here are wheeled into a temporary morgue set up in the car park of a mosque as COVID-19 continues to tear through English communities.
I've seen families grieving, and I think it's not going to go away quick, especially when you see a young son and a father pass away, buried together.
The official death toll across Britain is now at more than 17,000, but likely 40% higher according to statisticians, as British life adapts. At the Tower of London, there was silence where usually there'd be a gun salute to mark the Queen's birthday. Instead, Her Majesty released rare home videos of more carefree times. And Parliament resumed with just a handful of MPs kept well apart.
Order, order. The House is meeting today in exceptional and unprecedented circumstances.
Boris Johnson is taking tentative steps towards a return to work. He remains at his country residence, but will this week speak with the Queen for the first time in nearly a month, and has taken a phone call from Donald Trump. The UK government is pinning its hopes on vaccine trials at 2 universities.
Very interested to see whether or not it can prevent cases of coronavirus disease, and so that's why we need to get on and start the testing in humans.
The tests begin in 24 hours. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Donald Trump has praised North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, whose health still remains a mystery tonight. US intelligence reports suggest he's gravely ill following heart surgery.
We don't know. We don't know. I've had a very good relationship with him. I wouldn't, I can only say this, I wish him well.
President Trump has met the 36-year-old dictator 3 times and claims the pair has developed strong ties. He's the 99-year-old World War II veteran who's become known around the world for his fundraising for Britain's health service. Now Captain Tom Moore has opened a new field hospital in Yorkshire via video link, thanking frontline workers for their efforts during the crisis. The humble hero has now raised more than $50 million by walking laps around his garden. Donald Trump is pledging to reopen the United States while at the same time closing its borders. Next, a 60-day pause on immigration said to protect American jobs. Also, the new look Central Station as work on the city metro pushes ahead. Isolation celebration, a special concert for hundreds in hotel quarantine. And Waitaronga's loneliest sea lion has gone walkabout.
Are you ready for takeoff?
Yes, baby.
When you're smiling.
Now that's not like it.
When you're smiling.
I think I'm going to throw up my lasagna.
The whole world smiles with you.
How amazing was that?
Welcome to 2020.
Keep on laughing, keep smiling.
This is what the world has been waiting for.
You're smiling, the whole world smiles.
Get ready. We're celebrating the extraordinary.
That is how you do it.
Brand new Britain's Got Talent. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Hi guys, I'm Darren Purchase. Welcome back to my kitchen. Now, all this spending time at home has its advantages and disadvantages. I know for one, my hair is getting really long, but I'm also cooking things I wouldn't normally cook. And I'm loving the opportunity of cooking for my family and spending more time with them. So what's for dinner? Well, tonight I'm going to show you how to make my chicken, leek and pancetta pies. Really simple to make using fresh Aussie ingredients. So let's get started. I've got all of the ingredients for the pie filling here. Now with the pastry, you could of course buy in your own pastry. There are plenty of awesome brands on the supermarket shelves if you don't have the time. Rub the cold butter cubes using your fingertips into the flour in a mixing bowl before adding the water. Using your hands, bringing the dough together. Okay, pastry is done. Pop it in the fridge, give it a chill down and a rest, and I'll start on the pie filling. Cook the pancetta over a medium heat until it's golden brown and crispy. Lightly season the chicken pieces with salt and white pepper. Sauté the chicken in 2 batches. Add the chopped onion, celery and leeks to the pan. Season with a little salt, the chopped thyme, and grate in the garlic cloves using a microplane. Next I'm going to deglaze with the white wine. Sprinkle in the flour, add the chicken stock. Add the bacon and chicken plus the juices and simmer for about 3 minutes before adding the cream, chopped parsley and frozen peas, which I love. Pie filling's ready. Now to put it inside our pie tins. Done. Let's make 4 generous sized pies. Now, before I put the pastry on top, I need to cool these down a little bit, probably for about half an hour in the fridge. While I'm waiting, I'm going to roll out the pastry we made earlier, make a quick egg wash, and I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 degrees. My pie mix has been chilled, and also my pastry has cooled down as well. So now it's just time to lid these pies. Very exciting part. I'm going to brush the top of the pie lids with the egg wash that we made earlier. Now I'll just sprinkle some salt over the top and pop them in the oven. Chicken, leek, pancetta pies. There's no school like the old school. These are a real treat. For more recipes like this, head to coles.com.au. I can't wait any longer. I'm going to dig in. Have a good night.
Welcome back. Donald Trump is now pledging to reopen his country while closing its borders, banning permanent immigration to the US for 2 months. The president claims the restriction will protect American jobs, but his opponents see it as just another diversion.
As the president strides to get life back to normal for his citizens.
I see light at the end of the tunnel. I actually see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel.
A red light for green cards.
I will be issuing a temporary suspension of immigration into the United States.
Donald Trump set to sign an executive order suspending immigration for 60 days, halting anyone seeking permanent residency.
It would be wrong and unjust for Americans laid off by the virus to be replaced with new immigrant labour flown in from abroad.
But with America's borders effectively shut because of COVID-19, his critics say this is a political manoeuvre aimed at energising his base.
I think it's another diversion. The agencies don't even know what it is. No one knows what it is.
The White House may be confident the country's past the peak of this pandemic, but the number of economic victims is still growing. Congress passing a $500 billion rescue package today to help small businesses trying desperately to stay afloat.
I don't want more people dying, but again, we all have to survive. It's as bad as what you hear the Great Depression was. Or has the potential to be anyway.
State governments are feeling the pinch too. New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo meeting with the president today, insisting federal funding for nationwide testing is key to unlocking the economy.
The state governments are broke, to use a very blunt term.
In New York, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
A prisoner has been killed in a vicious attack at Parklea Jail. The 33-year-old male inmate was stabbed to death just after midday. He was treated by paramedics but could not be saved. Homicide detectives are now investigating. Sydney streets are just about deserted, but underground work is ramping up on some of our biggest projects. Construction of the new Central train station terminal is gathering speed, with the state government keen to show off progress made during the lockdown.
Deep beneath Central Station, Sydney's ghost platforms, unused since they were dug more than half a century ago, now a new lease on life. Workers this week breaking through. The space to be taken over by the South West Metro line.
There are electricians, there are plumbers, there are tunnellers, there's everyone involved in this.
Excavations for the new platforms now a third of the way down. The historic station above to be given a makeover to cope with the increase in passengers.
270,000 people travel through here normally every day, and we will see into the future 450,000 people.
When it's all over, this is what it will look like. A sleek new redesign, making our busiest station easier to navigate. Work on the Metro hasn't slowed in the past few months. In fact, it's sped up, just one of a number of infrastructure projects that's been helped by the current situation. The reduction in passengers and fewer cars on the roads helping push deadlines forward.
We've got the ability with less traffic on our roads to actually increase productivity across our work sites.
The South West Metro on track to be finished in 2024. Cameron Price, 7 News.
Construction on a new multi-million-dollar school in Sydney's northwest has been given the tick of approval. Santa Sophia College at Box Hill will have room for more than 1,800 students from kindergarten to year 12. The $123 million project features a 4 to 6 storey building surrounded by other learning areas, performance hubs and sports facilities. Life in quarantine can be tough, but those at a city hotel found out last night isolation can have its perks. Treated to a special concert featuring Aussie rocker Johnny Diesel, hundreds danced the night away from their windows and balconies.
At the hotel isolation, a little bit of light and togetherness. They sure could. After days locked inside, melody was medicine and voices were raised. Inhibitions tossed aside.
This concert was just all my energy over 2 weeks being let out, just released, because I am tired now after dancing and dancing and dancing.
Balconies at the Sofitel Wentworth became dance battlegrounds. Separation, no barrier. Rock legend Johnny Diesel kicked things off, surprising the 400 guests forced to call the hotel home for 14 days after returning from overseas.
Had a bit of fun in isolation.
For many, it was their final night, and kids, you know what that means.
Make sure the house is clean and the toilets are clean.
And mow the lawn.
No problems here, just dancing, distance and patience.
Oh yeah, plenty. We made it work.
Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
Keepers at Taronga Zoo have tried to cheer up a sea lion left lonely by the lockdown. 18-year-old Marley has been starved of human affection, so today he got to walk through the zoo to see some mates.
It's just a good opportunity for us to get out, for them to see different things, smell different smells and experience something different.
While the elephants didn't seem too impressed, Marley was over the moon, but still eager to get back to his pond. We're being told to wash our hands and, importantly, not to touch our faces to stop the spread of COVID-19. But that's easier said than done. Next, could hypnosis help? Also, the future of Parramatta's new mega skyscraper. What could it hold back? The household budget squeeze, how to access cashback and big savings on the essentials.
Shortly in sport, we go one-on-one with ARL Commission Chairman Peter V'landys and have exclusive details on Rugby League's restart.
We're all tunnel warm today, but a change is brewing. Details soon.
I promise you, it's going to be fun.
Billy Connolly's brand new American adventure.
Uncle Sam wants you. All I need is a top hat.
An extraordinary journey through a country of extremes.
I'm showing a bit of decay myself. I love it.
All new Billy Connolly's Great American Trail, Thursday on 7.
We're there for the surprise. And beneath your grandkids' favourite dinner. Since we lit Australia's first gas street lamp, we've been finding ideas for tomorrow. You can't always see us, yet we're there. The energy within. AGL. Progress for life.
Employees of Budget Direct, over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance?
No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Reason. From the moment we're born, we're conditioned to find it. Why does it feel good to dance? Why are we drawn to the water? We're consumed by a need for explanation. But some things just defy rational sense. When you move beyond what's known and into what's felt, you don't need a reason.
What if I can't get to the bank?
You can do much of your banking securely with Westpac online banking or mobile app, like being able to check your balance from the shops and transferring money. It's simple. Search Westpac Register.
In a world full of flavour, don't let your denture leave you with bad breath. Try new Polydent cleansing wipes, our quickest and easiest way to refresh your denture for that super fresh feeling, at home or out and about.
Hey, check this. Powerball has jackpotted to $20 million. Sound good? Grab a ticket today.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
Checking the markets now, and the ASX 200 closed just 1/10 of a point lower after a volatile session sparked by another sharp sell-off in equities around the world. With continuing uncertainty in the travel sector, Qantas and Flight Centre dropped around 6% each. Our dollar is buying 63.34 US cents. Sydney's fuel prices are still falling. The average now is 94.1 a litre. That's almost 50 cents cheaper than this time last month. Among the best deals, 79.9 at North Ryde and just 73.7 at Campbelltown. A skyscraper, which would be Parramatta's tallest building, has been approved by a local planning panel. The 69-storey apartment building has been designed for a site at 2 O'Connell Street. But the project could still be knocked back if it's found to interfere with airspace for Bankstown or Sydney airports. The panel has recommended Parramatta Council back the proposal with the Planning Department. On the river at Breakfast Point, the heritage-listed old blacksmith's workshop has sold for $7.3 million. The rare exposed brick warehouse sits on a massive waterfront block. It was in hot demand, but bought by a local family to use as their home. Touching our face has been linked to the spread of coronavirus, but stopping the habit is easier said than done. Now a Sydney hypnotherapist has developed a program free to all Australians to help use the power of the mind to control the body.
COVID-19 has brought a lot of uncertainty. No vaccine, no cure, just mindfulness of space, touching, and the importance of not doing it.
And as you stop touching your face, it becomes more and more natural and easy to not touch your face.
So hypnotherapist Mark Stevens has come up with a way to help people to stop reaching out to their eyes, nose and mouth.
Whoosh! By combining self-hypnosis with mindful meditation, we become more aware of what our hands are doing, and therefore we can stay more healthy.
Training our minds to end the habit.
Instead of this, release this.
According to university research, we touch our face 23 times an hour, our eyes and nose 3 times, and our mouth 4. A subconscious habit we've developed before birth, which then turns into a habit. Touching our face can spread COVID-19. An infected person can then spread the virus by touching other surfaces such as ATMs and door handles.
If it can help one person, it'll make a difference.
Anyone can access the program called Stop Touching Your Face for free. It's available on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, or through an app. Leonie Ryan, 7 News.
The virus crisis has put the squeeze on household budgets across Sydney, but there is help if you know where to look. The cashbacks and savings on essentials available now. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is here with sport, and Mel, Peter V'landys remains a man on a mission.
He certainly is, Fergo. He is determined that the May 28 restart will happen. We go one-on-one with the Commission Chairman for the latest details next. Plus, the Giants and Swans have come together in a bold bid to set up an isolation hub in Sydney. We'll tell you where. And Wallaby greats send a powerful message to Rugby Australia, but one legend refused to back his former teammates.
Who ordered brand new Mrs. Brown's Boys?
It was me!
Tonight.
No way!
The long-awaited brand new special.
I knew those flowers weren't for me. I don't get flowers. If I smell flowers, I look around for a coffin.
Get ready for an outrageous evening.
Do not speak to me. She's annoyed with me. She says I'm too nosy. She said that? No, I read it in her diary.
Brand new Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Hello.
Tonight, 9 o'clock on 7.
Introducing Switch from Ladbrokes. Switch gives you the power to pick your promotion, giving you more of what you want. Make the switch at Ladbrokes today. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
At Harvey Norman, our stores are open, with teams practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Buy now on 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $300. Shop for essential tech to keep working, a new appliance, or a bigger sofa or better mattress to make staying home more comfortable. Shop in-store or online, with both click and collect and delivery available. Take advantage of 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card until Tuesday only.
Go! At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero-contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
Introducing Switch from Ladbrokes. Switch gives you the power to pick your promotion, giving you more of what you want. Make the switch at Ladbrokes today. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
A lot has changed over the last few months, but globally, Allianz Group's commitment to serving its 100 million customers around the world hasn't. As part of this global network, Allianz Australia has been supporting our customers through uncertainty and change for over 100 years. So you can rely on us to be here for you now and in the future to ensure what matters most. Because our support doesn't stop here.
This Sports Report brought to you by Allianz.
Welcome back. It is official. The NRL has been given the green light to resume on May 28, with clubs allowed to train from May 4. ARL Commission Chairman Peter V'landys has also confirmed interstate clubs and the Warriors will have to travel to New South Wales for the first few weeks of the competition.
In a one-on-one interview with 7 News, the game's most senior power broker delivered the news that will delight fans, players and stakeholders.
It's great news because we've confirmed that the 28th of May is our commencement date. We've always said that we would look at the data. The data has been exceptional for us to recommence. It's been less than 1% infection rate in New South Wales.
The restart was rubber stamped late this afternoon by the Project Apollo committee, headed up by Commissioner Wayne Pearce.
People might want to criticise us for being ambitious, but from our perspective, we are absolutely holding ourselves to an account of high standards.
7 News understands the Commission is pushing for a 20-round competition and for the Origin series to be played beyond the grand final in October and into November. Chairman Peter V'landys is on a mission to resuscitate the game.
There's been a lot of work behind the scenes and it's all coming together for the 28th of May. It's come a lot quicker than I thought it would. Interstate
clubs and the Warriors will initially have to base themselves in New South Wales for training and for games.
But I don't think that'll be for the long term. It'll only be a matter of weeks because, if this infection rate continues to decline at the rate it is, the borders will be reopened.
And it's also been announced Junior Rugby League will resume in mid-July. Jim Wilson, 7 News.
Sydney's AFL teams are pressuring head office to set up an isolation hub here once the competition resumes. The Giants and Swans believe the Sydney Olympic Park precinct is ideal for quarantine purposes. Under the proposal, games would be played at Giants Stadium, the SCG and Blacktown. GWS captain Stephen Canelio is on the AFL's competition committee and is supportive of the plan.
A lot easier for us and a lot closer, but when you think about it, purpose-built for the Olympics not too long ago, 20 years ago now, so it's great.
Canelio is also open to the idea of playing multiple games each week. The AFL is expected to announce plans for a restart in coming weeks. Well, the pressure is on Rugby Australia's administration and it has dramatically intensified. 11 former Wallaby captains have co-signed a letter calling for the board and the entire leadership team to stand aside. The names on the letter includes Nick Farr-Jones, George Gregan, Phil Kearns and Stephen Moore.
We feel strongly about the game going well and at the moment that's not the case.
The captains are saying no, it's not Raelene Castle. This is the whole administrative team. Don't listen, go.
World Cup winning captain and former Rugby Australia director John Eales did not sign the letter. The Rugby Australia board plans to meet with the group. Aussie superstar Ben Simmons is over the back injury that brought his NBA campaign to a sudden halt. Simmons missed 8 straight games for Philadelphia before the coronavirus pandemic forced the season into hiatus, but his back problem has healed and the 76ers expect him to be ready to go as soon as the NBA is given the all clear to resume. Well, the postponement of the Tokyo Paralympics is a godsend for one of our best gold medal hopes. Swimming star Ellie Cole is recovering from a badly broken hip and faced an uphill battle to be at her best by the original start date in August.
All of my teammates were completely gutted, and so in a way I couldn't really show how excited I was, but it gave me an extra entire year to recover. So it was, I guess, a silver lining having the Paralympics postponed, but at the same time, I know it does hurt a lot of other athletes too.
Cole had been doing light training with Kate and Bronte Campbell on the North Shore before COVID-19 restrictions kicked in. We certainly wish her well. See, Fergo, there is a silver lining for some athletes, and she's a multiple gold medalist at the Paralympic Games and world champion. I'm sure she'll be back for more next year.
Given her record, it might be a golden lining.
I think you're right.
Good on you, Mel. Thank you. Setting up a household budget is a job many of us would rather avoid. But as businesses remain closed and finances tighten, the experts say there is no better time to cut unnecessary spending.
Like many Australian families, the Perry household is down to one income after Lindsay's employer was forced to shut down.
There's lots of things in our life that we can certainly tighten up the belt and for this particular time and go without.
Making a budget to list the necessities now essential.
Your first priority should be to put food on the table for your family, followed by paying your medical expenses or any medical bills.
And these should be paid with cash.
If you don't have enough then to cover your rent and your mortgage repayments, you can always negotiate more affordable repayments with your creditors.
With savings on offer if you shop around. Reduce Home Loans has a variable loan for a comparison rate of 2.4%. Citibank has a credit card with a 1.5% transfer fee but no interest for 26 months. And GNC Mutual Bank has a 6.2% comparison rate on car loans.
Make sure you're getting a loan that's flexible so that you can make extra repayments, and then with redraw, so that you can redraw it if you want. Watch the fees. Make sure they're not over the top.
And if you do need help starting a budget, there are free online tools available.
It's going to help them collate their income and all of their expenses and make some good, sound financial decisions moving forward.
Vital when money is tight. Elliot Chipper, 7 News.
David is back now with the latest forecast. Brownie, it was warm in that sunshine today.
Oh, indeed, Fergo, and this stable spell is far from over. Local forecast on the other side of the break.
Tonight on the latest from 7 News, a future forecast. What shopping will look like beyond COVID-19. A leading retailer joins us to explain. Billionaire Andrew Twiggy Forrest is here with his predictions for the economy. And Australia's longest-serving ambassador to China weighs in on the theory that the coronavirus came from a secret lab. That's tonight on the latest from 7 News.
It's amazing.
Sunday, Sydney's Whole House reveal.
You hit the bloody jackpot. Congratulations, mate.
It'll make history.
Wow.
As the best transformation ever. The must-see Whole House reveal. Sunday at 7 on 7.
Right now, it's time to stay home. But don't ever stop dreaming of your next adventure. Because even though we're home for now, it won't be forever.
So it's still anybody's game. There's the tap. Puts it out. Oh, sells the candy. Heads into it open. Goal and drops it. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's the stuff nightmares are made of.
We're pregnant. Did someone say KFC?
I don't care.
Across Australia, we're all playing our part to stop the spread of coronavirus. I'm doing my part, and you can too.
We can catch up online with friends and family and virtually grab that drink together.
We can head back to the beach when it's safe to do so and meet at a friend's place another time.
But for now, let's keep doing our bit and stay home. Together, we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. To find out more, visit australia.gov.au.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
NRMA Insurance has always been committed to helping Australians. And while you're at home during this time, our customer care team remains on hand, continuing to help, as we always will.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important as well. If you've got sensitive teeth, you should be looking for something to help with the sensitivity, but you should also be thinking about, do I need to look after my gums? Using the new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health when used twice a day, every day. I think it's fantastic to have a dual action toothpaste. 2 benefits with the one toothpaste. What a great idea.
Bring on the dirtiness, muddiness, sauciness, and how did that get under theiriness? Because with a great range of cleaning solutions, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness.
Right now, lives like Eva's still depend on regular blood donations. To her, they'll always be an essential service, which is why Life Blood Donor Centres are safe and still open. If you're feeling well, book a donation today.
Right now, it's time to stay safe. Right now, it's time to stay home. But there's one thing you should never stop doing, and that's dreaming of your next adventure. Because even though today we can't hit the beach, we can't head for the hills, or even just push the boat out, it won't be forever.
A long time ago, I made a mistake.
9 months later, you come along?
Hang on.
Who's her dad? Home and Away, this week on 7.
Tonight, 7 News headlines. The Ruby Princess doctor has told a special inquiry into the debacle. She knew there were COVID-19 type symptoms on board, but wasn't asked about it by authorities. The federal government is rushing in extra staff to a virus-hit nursing home near Penrith. And beaches in the corona hotspot of Waverley will reopen to swimmers next week. Now, the latest on Sydney's weather, here's David.
Thanks very much, Fergo. More sunshine today, and it's steady as she goes on the weather front for several days. Now, today's maximum very, very comfortable indeed. 26.5 degrees leading up to 2:30 this afternoon. Mid-20s throughout the entire Sydney Basin as forecast, as you can see there. And by the way, those maximum temperatures are about 3 degrees above average. High pressure, of course, is behind this settled spell of weather we've been enjoying now for a number of days. This is a typical pattern for this time of year, and it's far from over. In fact, as we go to the forecast chart, we'll keep an eye on a cold front that's sweeping across the Great Australian Bight. It will bring a little bit of rain to South Australia, also some rain to Victoria, but the system's peaked. In fact, the bulk of it is expected to slip away to the south later tomorrow. But having said that, a stronger system is likely to impact our state during Sunday. Here it comes, producing just light, patchy rain at best. Nationwide tomorrow, more sunshine expected in Brisbane, a warm top of around 28 degrees. Melbourne, fine for most of the day, that rain arriving probably towards evening. 21 degrees ahead of that change. Some showers also expected in Adelaide around 22. For our state, remaining dry, although we will see some middle and high level cloud just sailing in from the west as the day wears on, and it will be a warm afternoon with most centres reaching the mid-20s. And of course, warm is the weather word for our suburban area tomorrow. Look at that. Another beautiful day is on the way. Clear skies and just a gentle breeze. In fact, we're expecting smooth seas to continue for our coastal waters as well. Light and variable winds giving way to a gentle north to northeasterly. That should happen around about mid-afternoon. Sunny tomorrow, light winds and a warm top. There it is, 25 degrees, coming off a low there of around 14. As for the next 7 days, let's check it out. Friday, more of the same. A little bit warmer maybe, up around 28 degrees coastal. Anzac Day, an absolute cracker. Clear skies, light winds and, well, virtually temperatures again, a few degrees above average. A little bit warmer on Sunday, but as you can see, the stunning weather continues well and truly into next week. That's the latest weather, Fergo.
Keep it coming, Brownie, keep it coming. Thank you. That is 7 News for this Wednesday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening, and the latest is on after 10:30. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.